And I haven't heard her sing, but she can't be any worse than Pierce Brosnan. Will you please welcome the wonderful Sandra Bullock? Are you now, or were you ever an ABBA fan in the past, growing up? That kind
Yes, I was watching the clips, and I looked at him, I said, is your life, I look at it, and your life is repeating itself. Moments that you had at puberty, not, always the most pleasant ones, but you have ABBA, and it makes it all okay.
They were there in the background, some incredible tunes.
They were through some incredible situations.
Music. Hey, congratulations on the new movie. You're over here in the UK for the premiere of The Proposal, a new romantic comedy starring the beautiful Sandra Bullock and some good-looking bloke in it as well. What's his name?
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds. He's a good-looking young man you have, obviously, there in the film.
He's not just good-looking, but very bright.
Nice character. But this
yes,
is not...
character, yes, it is. Shocking, not for an actor.
But it's not your first time in Europe, of course. I know you've been over here any number of times.
Yes.
Did you live in Europe for part of your life?
I did. My mother was German, and she was an opera singer, so we spent half the year in whether it's Vienna or Salzburg, or I went to school in Nuremberg as well, but just wherever the operas were is where we went to school. And I have family here. Half my family is
Incredible.
German. Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah. When you say half your family here, you mean in Germany, though? You don't
yes,
mean
in
here.
Germany, yes. But I mean, I look at Europe as my stomping ground, my youth. So when I say here, yes, I mean Germany.
When you're in America, though, you can say here and mean all of Europe. When you're here, if you're talking about Germany, please do
I'm
just
sorry,
say that.
But see, I love it all.
I'm sure the Germans feel the same way. They want a degree
I know,
of
I apologize, but I sort of feel like I went everywhere as a kid, so this was sort of...
It was what an upbringing, what a childhood that must have been.
Incredible, huh? I mean, everyone asks, what was it like? I said, to me, it was just a lot of loud singing and some great locations and memories. Yeah.
Were you an opera fan as a child?
I'm not an opera fan, but you play an aria, I can probably hum it.
Oh.
But it's, when you are around musicians like my parents, it's unbelievable. It sets the bar kind of high.
It does. If they're proper, if they can do it properly. She
was extraordinary, and hence the reason I do not sing.
You never sing?
I should never sing, nor will I ever sing, nor do I want to sing. It's not a good thing.
Is this because you're judging yourself harshly against your mother's ability?
No.
You just have a bad voice?
I just have a voice that has nothing to offer.
What did your father do?
He was also a singer, but he was an extraordinary vocal teacher.
Oh, see, so he was a coach.
Yeah, between New York City and his students at the Met, and traveled all over Europe himself. But they're both just amazing singers.
And you must speak German?
Ja, ich spreche Deutsch.
Wow. And English? You speak English?
Und English auch,
oh.
Yeah.
Any other of the great European languages?
I speak the universal language of love. In Germany we had to take French and English. Of course, I excelled in English. Fairly squeaked by in French, but...
Do you speak any Swedish? Have you spoken Swedish?
No, but I speak it to ABBA.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sprachen Sie ABBA?
Sprachen Sie ABBA.
Yeah, money, money, money. Okay. So now, The Proposal is the new film.
Yes.
When I saw the trailers for this, I thought, I want to go and see this, because I love seeing Sandra Bullock movies, but I have to tell you this, I'm a softie. I love a romantic comedy.
Do you?
Yeah, I love a romantic comedy.
You love it?
And you have been in several fine romantic comedies.
So I'm told.
Do you like to call them the rom-com?
No,
or do you...
I think rom-com, it's like when they take everyone's name and squish them into one when they start dating. It's just not funny.
You mean like when J-Lo was going out with Ben Affleck and they were Jaffleck or something? What did
something
they call it?
Very
something
similar
like
to that.
Well, yeah,
yes.
Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie are Brangelina.
I know. Why can't they have their own names?
So if we were to call it a romantic comedy, that's fine.
Yes, well, I think they don't call them romantic comedies anymore because they're either not funny nor romantic. So they could have made a tiny word that represented a little bit of what they had. Yeah.
Okay, it's got a kind of it's not too high a premise. It's a fairly straightforward one. Will you set it out for people who haven't yet had the joy of seeing the trailer?
A tightly wound businesswoman, myself, who's somewhat unpleasant, blackmails her assistant to marry her because she's being deported to Canada. He then blackmails her back, kind of, by saying, if you do this, then you give me this, and he takes me to Alaska to meet the family and
see if you can guess what happens. Yeah, but that's what I like. If that didn't happen, I'd be furious.
Yeah, but I agree with you, but I think we concentrate too much on that and not enough on the funny.
You think the funny is more important than that?
I think the funny is always more important because you know we're going to end up together.
Yes.
How do we get you there? Can we show you?
You'd like to see all that.
Yes.
But, you know, here's the thing. As you said, she starts off, she's a bit of a biatch,
yeah.
as they say. Okay, she starts off a bit of a biatch, and then she becomes okay. I'd quite like to see a movie where she starts off nice and she becomes a biatch. You ever get off of those kind of films?
No, because that's kind of the way I am in real life. So.
It's too close to the truth. Okay, this is the lovely Sandra Bullock with, what's his name, Ryan Reynolds?
Ryan Reynolds.
He's a very fit young man.
A little too much for my taste.
Well, just muscles all over the place.
Just muscles and brains and talent. It just gets old.
Here we go. Let's have a look. This is Sandra with the overly good-looking Ryan Reynolds.
Room service, breakfast for the happy couple.
Andrew. Andrew, your mother's at the door.
Just a second.
Hey, no, baby blanket. All right. Baby blanket. Get up. Okay. All right. Screw me. Oh my God, what is that?
I'm sorry.
What is it?
It's the morning.
I remember when I used to have that in the morning. It's great fun. There's a naked scene between the two of you in this film. It's a very funny naked scene. But I'm assuming when shooting, I looked at it, I'm assuming that this actually happened, the naked scene. There was actual nakedness going on.
There was. Yes, actual funny nakedness occurred of smashing bodies.
You know, I don't want to make it seem like I'm obsessing with this, but it happens 54 minutes into the movie.
Does it really?
Yeah, I checked. And I did AQA. How long into the movie? 54 minutes. Someone sat down and made a note of that. How long does that take to shoot, that kind of scene? Do you rush through that more quickly, or do you relax?
You'd like to. I've never really shot myself naked and had it publicly viewed before. So this was a whole new thing for me. I know others have.
You ever done any home movies with boyfriends, that kind of thing?
That's what I was referring to when I said others have.
Okay, so you have been in those kind of situations?
Have not.
Okay, you have not.
Not to my knowledge.
I'm not sure where we are now. This is like...
I don't either. It's not really sketchy territory. You might want to just step back into the place
If you want to know, just in case you want to know, I did do some.
Did you?
Yeah, I shot myself with my wife. She didn't know one time I hid the camera. Is that creepy? Is that wrong?
How did she feel about that?
She made me tape over it.
I don't blame her. I don't